London Bridge is down. That's what all saying across the world. Queen Elizabeth II, the longest-serving British monarch, passed on yesterday, and the world is mourning. Since yesterday evening, many have had their conversations on this, their thoughts on it, and they're opening our phone lines to hear Nigerians, especially those living abroad, especially in the UK, what their thoughts are on the passing of the British monarch and the new king who will be coronated in a year. And although he's already King Charles, he's already been addressed as King Charles. And the whole thoughts around this entire death, what it means to you, to Africa, to the world, if indeed you think the essence of the monarch will wane as a result of this passing, or would it increase? Because many were even thinking that maybe Prince Charles will step down for Prince William to become king. But these are different talks or that will still be coming in the next coming weeks. But first, let's just reflect on Queen Elizabeth. We're going to be speaking with the ambassador to the UK, Nigeria, the ambassador Tunji Ishola will be joining us in a moment. But before we bring him on, I'd like to hear your thoughts. You can call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-270-53687, and send your tweets on TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. Let's hear your thoughts on the Queen's passing and what you think or what your expectations are going forward. Mariam, let me come to you first. What were your thoughts when you heard of the Queen's passing?
So my mom is a strong royalist.
Ah.
I think she grew up with them and everything.
I knew them personally.
So when I heard her first and then I called her, I was like, oh, my sincere, sympathy, my condolences. I heard your auntie pass. She was like, which one? I said, the Queen. She was like, oh, my God, that's a lovely woman. She was a queen and yet a good mother. She was motherly. I was like, oh, how do you know all this, madam? She said that all the magazines she used to read. So, especially of their generation, they have followed, the royal family. They were, the relationship between Nigeria and the UK at that time and with the Queen was much, I feel, much closer than it is now. Right now, a lot of Nigerians are thinking about how they had impacted us, as colonialists more than how they are our big brothers. Yeah. But my heart goes out to their family, and it's also beautiful to see how tradition is passed on from one generation to the next. It seems everything is arranged, and there's respect for that. And I would like to see more of that in our own land, where we respect our monarchs and uphold the culture. Yes. My mother-in-law, she always talks about when the Queen came to Nigeria. She was there. She was one of those little kids that were lined up. And she talks about how, how we were preparing for that, to receiving the Queen. Now she had to wear the best shoes. And she sat down there, and she was one of the little girls that were lined up waiting to see the Queen. And she saw the Queen, and she was excited. She still did 1956 or something. And she still remembers. So that was like a life-changing experience that she'll never forget. I'm not even sure she's aware. I have to call her because she's in the kitchen right now and tell her. She has very limited information right now, but I'll probably call her. So how did you find out?
So I was driving back home from the island. There was traffic, and so I was exiting Oxbourne into the transit that takes you into Third Mainland, and then there's this big billboard that displays news. And I just looked up. One of my fellow students was driving, helping me on the journey, and I looked up and I saw the Queen is dead, and I'm like, the Queen is dead. Let's check our phone. What's happening? What happened to the Queen? And it was a shocker all over social media. Everybody was just talking about how the Queen who wasn't meant to be a queen. This was someone who wasn't born to expect that she would become a queen, ended up becoming a queen because her father's brother abdicated. And so she now had to, and then she lived for years. When they say you're not meant to get something, then you now get it, and you...
Longest 7.
You were there, obviously. 70 years on the throne. That, for me, is just a good way to say anything in my life that they say it is not my own. Like Queen Elizabeth, I will get it and hold it for the longest, Yes. People will turn it into prayer points.
Prayer points, BD, correct.
You have turned it into a prayer point already.
But one sad part for me was people, also because I was just preparing for this, the conversation was that many people kept saying that one of the longest preparation ever was the preparation of King Charles. That King Charles had been waiting since forever to become a king. And it's a sad time. You'll be saying, sorry for the loss of your mother. Congratulations on becoming a king. It's just somehow, but...
Let me come to Alaja. Your thoughts on the passing of the Queen? I mean, this is a monarch. This is the longest-serving monarch, and the fact that of her person. What are your thoughts when you heard the news? What crossed your mind?
Nothing really. So I heard it on my school WhatsApp group, and our usual style is, Mama Charlie don't die. So really, for me, it's just the end of an era, continuation of another era. I would like to see better reflection of the past and the experiences of colonialism in African countries and the countries where Britain ever passed. I hope that, you know, they would really release these countries to do better. Really. Let there be real sovereignty. We don't want the unseen hands over our country. I personally hate the fact that Nigerian presidential aspirants have to do something in Britain at all costs. But then, so that's it for me.
Right. So I was really excited when I saw with the report saying the King and Queen consorts. Yes. Camilla, that is a hot topic. We leave it on not today, because we're still mourning. But the fact that a side babe, a side chick, has now become the Queen consort. Oh, that's a conversation for another day, but we'll cool it for now. Let's move on. So when the Queen died, actually, they already noticed that her health was failing. So they called up all her family members. They all came together and they surrounded her. So she died peacefully. And then the mourners, sympathizers echoed, London Bridge is down. Yeah. I'm told that our ambassador is on the phone right now because I'd like to speak to him to hear the updates from the UK. Good morning, sir. We have Ambassador Sarafaddeen Tunji Ishola. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Oh, fantastic. Good to have you on the show this morning.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
So
Good morning, viewers.
So how did you receive the news of the passing of Queen Elizabeth II? What happened? Where were you when it happened? And how did you receive it? How did the commission receive it?
Just like most people in the world, at exactly 6:30 yesterday evening, the news broke, and I slated a meeting for 7 o'clock, another one at 8 o'clock with the High Commission. So the first reaction is to cancel those 2 meetings, and in addition, I have to tell everyone in the mission to leave because mourning is spontaneous, has to commence immediately. But I must tell you that having seen the Queen appointed the Prime Minister on Tuesday, which is just about 48 hours earlier, the Queen did not give any sign as somebody who will exit the world in the next 48 hours. So it was in shock and disbelief. But given the fact that we all belong to God and we will return to God, we have to take it within the context of believers. But I must say that it's also important to emphasize that most righteous people always exit the world in that way, in shock and disbelief, because the Queen, sometimes we call her the Queen of Britain, or the Queen of England, or the Queen of the Commonwealth. You know, I would say the Queen of the world, because in the last 70 years, I'm not aware of any single individual that has been the promoter of world peace better than the Queen.
Right.
The Queen is not only a promoter of peace, she's also a world citizen, because she...
Oh, we can't hear you again. Just lost your audio.
It's back.
Has really taken on the Queen, because she remains a promoter of
All right, let me...
and the framework.
Let me get a few more questions in for you. Go ahead, Mariam.
Yes, so for many Nigerians, we have 2 factions. We have those who are thinking of what relevance is her passing right now to a Nigerian, living in Nigeria. And the other faction who, recognize and appreciate the long-standing ties that we've had with the UK, and how would that affect the relationship going forward? How would her passing affect the relationship going forward?
Well, like you all know, Britain is crazy of over 300 years. So institutions here have been built. The Buckingham Palace and the royal family is an institution. And yes, the departure of the Queen and the enthronement of that king is a radical departure between two personalities. But with built institutions, those institutions will be able to support King Charles IV to continue where the Queen restored. But it is important to say that before the exit of the Queen, a couple of years back, the Queen has delegated a lot of functions around the world. For example, the last Commonwealth heads of government meeting in Kigali, it was King Charles IV that represented the Queen. And I happened to be present in one of his programs, that is a sustainable market initiative that is bringing more of private sector approach to that of governance all over the world. I also took time to discuss the issue of the Green Wall project that is working on this desertification in Nigeria. And I'm aware that during COP26, Prince Charles, the now King Charles, was committed to the issue of climate change. And I know that he will also play a prominent role in COP27 in the UK Chinese year.
Okay, go ahead, Thomas.
So I wanted to ask you, sir, about the British system and the UK itself. They have a separate, like the Queen was always of just this ceremonial show. So I'm a bit concerned that there won't be any, it won't affect any policy relationship between Nigeria and the UK, because we feel like the policy is driven by the new Prime Minister. Now, my question to you is, based on your relationship with the UK over the past months that you've been the ambassador, would you say that this period we are having two changes? One, change in Prime Minister. Two, change in the monarchy. Will these changes at the same time affect us in any way in terms of our bilateral relationship? Would we be having to readdress some of our issues?
Well, life itself is a continuum, and just like government is a continuum, even the royal family is also a continuum. What we have in Britain are built institutions. If you notice, on assumption of duty of the Prime Minister on Tuesday, you discover that just at 10 Downing Street, the bureaucrats that welcome the Prime Minister, such that what has only changed is Boris Johnson significantly. We'll still have the bureaucrats and built up institutions that will support that Prime Ministership under the leadership of any British Prime Minister. That is number one. Number two, don't forget, Britain runs a parliamentary system of government, which is based on party democracy. From Boris Johnson to Liz Truss, it's about conservative government. So nothing will change, no significant change in terms of policy direction. Even in the House of Commons, still about government and the opposition. So that will not change. Even the British Prime Minister, also a backbencher now. So we are not expecting much of change. And like I told you, before the exit of the Queen, a couple of years back, a lot of this responsibility have been delegated to King Charles IV. Although within the tradition of the monarchy is King Charles II will now come with certain proclamations which will have to be put in place by the Buckingham Palace and other British institutions that are associated with the monarchy. But I'm not expecting a significant change. Prince Charles, before now King Charles, has a lot of friends in Nigeria, and has a lot of respect for our president that I know very much. two occasions I've had cause to interact with him, always ask her after the president. And given the fact that this is a long-standing relationship, Nigeria being the most populous country in Africa, the largest economy in Africa, after Brexit, the next game is Africa. And how do you go to Africa without Nigeria?
So,
given the fact that even the international trade now is being the new Secretary of International Trade is Kevin Badenoch. I don't know whether that sent any signal to you.
Ambassador, so on a fairly lighter note, because in our own culture, 96 is the celebration of life. I know the world is mourning, but in our own context, we are supposed to be celebrating somebody who was a great woman. So what's the commission planning? The Ashwebi factors, the parties, the symbolic celebration from the African culture. Do you have anything in mind after the official mourning is over? Is there any plan for the African community to come together to do something big for the Queen's celebration? Because in our culture, it's party time.
Yes, thank you very much. Don't forget that the mission in Britain doubles as a mission accreditation to the United Kingdom, as well as accreditation to the Commonwealth. So Nigeria will operate under the auspices of those three institutions. One, as a country. Two, as a member of the African Union Group, because we have the African Union Group in the UK here. And thirdly, as a member of Commonwealth. Here, emphasis is based on unity, purpose. As Nigeria practically has been providing some kind of leadership to the African Union. So we just have to go along with African brothers and sisters, high commissioners and ambassadors, to have it within that context of an African program. And eventually, the Commonwealth. Nigeria plays a significant role in Commonwealth from inception to date. So it will not be more of an individual thing, it will be more of a collective thing within the context of African Union and the Commonwealth.
Okay.
So that was exactly what I was going to ask about the Ashwebi and all of the ceremony that would happen.
All right, so we definitely look forward to after the morning and see, we hear of the cultural display that we're about to see. So far, the Union flag on the palace was put at half-mast. We saw that already yesterday. We know a lot of things happened already that was already put in place already, knowing that this would happen at some point. So we are seeing that cultural display, and we're all looking forward to when the final funeral starts and how we're going to see, because recently we just experienced the one with the Duke of Edinburgh, and we saw that cultural display, but we know it will be heightened because the Queen herself has passed. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. Is there any other message you'd like to tell Nigerians, especially those living abroad, at this moment concerning as we're mourning the Queen?
Yes, let me seize the opportunity to thank many Nigerians who have taken time to send messages of condolence to us in the High Commission on this, and also thank all Nigerians in particular for their love for the Queen, because Nigeria, more or less, is also thrown into a state of mourning, given the statement of the President that Nigerian history will not be complete without the Commonwealth. Don't forget, this is the Queen that gave us the independence. Without her commitment to our independence, perhaps we'll still have remained a British colony. That in itself is worthy of whatever we talk about. Because, and from Prime Minister till President Muhammadu Buhari, I had the opportunity to interact with all our leaders. She's very concerned about Nigeria. In the course of my engagement, that was not in doubt. So I thank all Nigerians for rising up to mourn the Queen, for the love they have shown her. And I want to assure Nigerians as well that King Charles III will start from there and will strengthen and deepen this relationship. I'm giving that commitment.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Let's go on a break now. When we come back, move on to other topics of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.